Hey everybody, welcome back to your Resident Girl channel. Alright guys, I'm so excited to be doing this video because Disney released a list of things you need to watch before watching the Obi Wan series. They recommend it, especially to get caught up. One of the things that you need to watch, obviously, are the prequels. They don't require the originals because the originals have not yet happened in the current storyline. If you have not yet watched the prequels, and are starting with the Obi Wan series, that's bold. That's bold. I would just Wikipedia that before watching it, or honestly, just binge watch it. Just call out from work, binge watch all of the prequels, and then watch the Obi Wan series. Now, the second thing that they're asking you guys to watch before watching Obi Wan is to watch the Clone Wars movie and some of the episodes of Clone Wars. That is what I'll currently be recapping. So if you have never watched Clone Wars before, I highly recommend you watch the Clone Wars. It's such a good series. There are some things that I'm not gonna lie are a little out there. You know, they're not, I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. It's too, like, mythological versus what Star Wars is. I mean, you know, like mythological, kind of like Hercules, Hades type of mentality, right? Like that. But Star Wars for me is like a little bit different. It's still a fantasy. It's still maybe a myth in of itself, but it's not like, I would equate like mythology to Lord of the Rings, to maybe a little bit of Harry Potter, Merlin, like things like that. But anyways, again, I don't always agree with everything going on in Clone Wars, but it's such a great thing. So but we get so much great content, Star Wars content, that I just ignored. And I can do another video about some of the stuff that I'm just really like about Clone Wars. Okay, but here are the episodes that, again, Disney recommends you to watch before actually watching Obi-Wan and the movie. So the first thing is that they recommend is watching the movie. The movie, I think, came out a little bit after the show itself. The movie pretty much goes back in time to when Anakin becomes Ahsoka's master. I think that's an important thing. Maybe that's something that they'll lean on, just the origins of how they become apprentice and master type of thing. Because originally Anakin did not want an apprentice, but then he ended up having a great relationship with Ahsoka. And I think the relationship with Ahsoka, I hope is something that they will explore as much as possible in the Obi-Wan series. The one thing that always gets me is like, Obi-Wan series is only a limited series. Anyways, after that, we kind of delve into that relationship. We also delve into the fact that Jabba's son was kidnapped in this movie. And this is important because Jabba at the time, he was pretty much saying, whoever rescues my son, that is who I will declare my allegiance for. At the time, it's the Republic or the Separatists. But the Separatists end up kidding where actually the original wants to kidnap Jabba's son because they want to make the Jedi look bad, so the Jabba would not side with the Republic. Anyways, they end up pretty much Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka pretty much end up discovering all this, letting Jabba know, and now he's pissed at Separatists and ends up assisting the Jedi. So that's how all that worked, and I think Jabba's son will play a role in this, which is why they're asking us to watch this. Now, I don't know if Ahsoka will ever meet a Jabba's son. She calls him Stinky throughout this. Just a small little detail. Okay, the next thing that they're asking you guys to watch is Season 2, Episodes 12 through 16 of Clone Wars. Alright, so for Episodes 12 to 14, they all kind of go, like, link hand in hand. They're part of, like, it's part of one storyline. We meet Satine, who is currently the Duchess of Mandalore, who currently rules Mandalore. We also learn in this episode that she had a relationship with Obi-Wan. To what extent, we don't know. We don't know if it was simply a flirtation, if they were in an official relationship. We just know that they spent a lot of time for each other and that they had feelings for each other. That's pretty much the extent of this. And it's very clear of the original. Okay, huge spoiler, guys. Satine does die in Clone Wars, so I don't think we'll be seeing her in Obi-Wan, but maybe this relationship will be something that we discuss, especially after the fact that Obi-Wan was always very lenient with Anakin about his relationship with Padme. So I think that's kind of why one of the reasons why we're talking about this and what will bring it up. But to be honest, I don't think we're leaning on that aspect. I think we're leaning simply on the fact that this is the first time we actually meet Death Watch and who this organization is. It is also, I think it's also pretty big plot to consider for The Mandalorian, which I don't know if Disney released a list like this for The Mandalorian. That I don't know. But pretty much what happens here is that the Mandalorians are being attacked by an organization called Death Watch. Death Watch are actually also Mandalorians, but they're a lot more violent. Right now, the Duchess Satine just wants peace, and that's kind of where, like, that disconnect went. She exiled people to their moon of Mandalore who are a little too violent, and they're trying to just get rid of these people. One of them is Death Watch. Death Watch wants to retake over Mandalore and go back to what they consider the former glory of Mandalore, and they want Duchess Satine out of out of power. So obviously they're trying to assassinate her. As always with Star Wars, their main thing is assassinate the leader. I just realized that that's like one of their things. So, and then at this time during Walls, we don't know who the official leader is. The official leader actually turns out to be Pre Vizsla, who works alongside Satine. So, what was I? So yeah, so Pre Vizsla is working alongside the Duchess Satine, which turns out to be he is actually the head of Death Watch, which is why he's able to infiltrate it so well. Now, the reason why the Jedi, Obi Wan, is being sent here is not because of your relationship with Satine. It's actually because the Jedi are like, oh, Death Watch is working with the Separatists. So now they're trying to involve Mandalore in the war. And again, Satine wants nothing to do with violence in any aspect. She wants no part in this war. So she's really like, you guys need to leave. This is something that we as Mandalores are going, us in Mandalore are going to deal with. So go away. She's trying to kick out the Jedi, but they're not listening. So anyways, like I said, one of the things in this episode, they discovered that Pre Vizsla is the leader of Death Watch, something we'll have to know. The second thing is the fact that this is the first time we're introduced to the Black Saber. We learned a little bit about the legend about the Black Saber, that a Mandalore went into the Jedi Temple and stole the Black Saber. Again, something we'll also need to know. Anakin comes to assist Obi Wan to accompany the Duchess Satine back to Coruscant so that way she can talk to the Republic in that moment. Into the Senate about her situation, how she does not want them to get involved in the planet of Mandalore's affairs. They go again. They try to assassinate her again, someone that's close to her, and pretty much is the point where like Anakin now finds out about Obi Wan and Satine's relationship. And I think again, I don't know if this is something that we'll be touching upon because of his relationship with Obi Wan and with Padme and all of this. I don't know if this will be brought up in Obi Wan, but I'll let you guys know. Now after that, pretty much what happens is that, after that, Satine goes, addresses the Senate. The Senate has a videotape of someone part of Mandalore that's like saying, oh, we actually do need assistance for the Republic, pretty much forcing her into war. Everyone's saying vote. The whole time it's like, okay, we're going to vote to go assist them, and now getting the Mandalorians to be part of the war. But then we find out that the tape is actually fake, and they pretty much are like, yeah, they forcing the Chancellor to not get involved, which was actually what the Chancellor wanted all along. That's pretty much how it ends. Oh, also at some point during all of this, Obi-Wan confesses his feelings to Satine, saying, I would have left the Republic for you. Yeah, which is, again, I don't know if this will be brought up at all. Anakin was not anywhere near that moment, so I don't think he heard that. One more thing was during that confession Obi-Wan was confessing was because Satine was about to be killed, I think. Yeah, Satine was about to be killed, and right before she's killed, Anakin ends up killing the guy, and just again, another foreshadowing into who Anakin truly becomes, Vader. Again, slowly, this is why I love Clone Wars, because they drop those clues saying, hey, Anakin will become Darth Vader. Like, let's not forget this, and I love that. He's very strong, good heart, but yeah, he's kind of cutthroat. So that's what happens. All right, so that's the 3-part episodes. Now, the next things are individual episodes that Disney recommended. Right after that, we get an episode where Padme is trying to prevent the creation of more clones, because she's trying to stop the war, because she pretty much says that we're creating more clones, we're creating more warriors to go fight in a war that we don't originally want. Let's go back to diplomacy. Trying to pass this bill. they end up trying to stop this bill, trying to stop all the senators that are with her who are trying to push this bill through to the Senate. One of them is, of course, Bail Organa. Right here we pretty much see how Bail Organa and Padme work together. I think it'll be a hint to maybe we'll see young Leia or even Bail Organa again in Obi Wan series. And just the teachings of Leia, I guess. I don't know. Maybe this is why they're hinting at this. Anyways, her motion ends up failing completely because they're pretty much saying we need to end this war, and we need to continue this war to get peace. Essentially, that's what the Chancellor tells her. All right, so the next episode is a one-off episode. We get Obi-Wan is going to Kristoff's planet. I think that's how you call it. He's going to assist Bail Organa. Again, Bail Organa, I'm pretty sure he's going to be in in Obi-Wan. He's going to assist Bail Organa. Anakin comes to assist Obi-Wan. He pretty much takes over. There's like this hidden ship. I don't know if the secret like it's a ship that can cloak itself, turn itself invisible essentially. I don't know if this ship will play any part in Obi-Wan, but it was a pretty big thing in the episode. Anyways, Anakin does this really cool like way of like creates this really cool plan to ends up defending Bail Organa and things like that, and getting the supplies that they need and assisting them in the war. And it's just it showcases how much of a like it really is a great way to get to know General Anakin versus Jedi Knight Anakin. He's very analytical, he's very tactile, such a great warrior. So I think we're gonna get more of that Anakin, especially because now that he's Darth Vader, his mission is to go out and kill the remaining Jedi. And they actually posted a picture of this on their Instagram. So I love it. I love the fact that we're getting... this is why you need to watch Clone Wars. It shows all the aspects of Anakin Skywalker, for sure. And I love that. Alright. As for season 4, you have to watch episodes 15 through 18. Yeah, I believe episodes 15 through 18. So this is one of the weirder plots in Clone Wars because there's certain things about it that you're just like, how has this never been brought up? Okay, so first thing is literally like the first scene, Obi-Wan died. It's like dun dun dun. He's not actually dead. They fake his death. Yoda and Mace Windu are aware of the fact that he's gonna fake his death. They fake his death because the Jedi get wind of the fact that the Separatists are going to kidnap the Chancellor, and essentially they're trying to prevent this. Now, the reason they fake this death is because they're pretty much are like, okay, if whoever kills Obi-Wan Kenobi, that's gonna be a huge triumph, and they might be able to get in on the plan to, the Chancellor. That was a very interesting way of what they did. Anyways, when Anakin finds out, he's obviously distraught. This is a big character moment for Anakin because not only does he think he lost one of his father figures, he also then later finds out that the Jedi Order has kept this a secret of the fact that Obi-Wan is still alive. So he's obviously pissed about this too. He's like, how could you guys not trust me? How could you guys betray me once again? Another reason, because yes, the main reason why he turns to Palpatine is for Padme, for sure, yes, but it's also the lack of trust in the Jedi Order, how they won't be able to assist him in this winning. There's just a lot that goes on in this thing why he decides to turn over to Palpatine. So again, another reason why he doesn't like the Jedi Order, and then of course his distrust for Obi-Wan. Again, this is like the fact that Obi-Wan didn't tell him this. Now he doesn't trust Obi-Wan. There's a lot there that we're probably going to be talking about, and if they're making us watch this episode, hopefully they'll be smart and they're going to make us talk about this in the Obi-Wan series. It sucks that the Obi-Wan series is limited. Oh my gosh, it hurts. It hurts so much. I don't know how many episodes we're going to get and how they're going to pack all of this in all these episodes. They're the high hopes I have for this. Okay, so besides, where was I going with this? Okay, so besides Anakin's relationship with Obi-Wan pretty much he literally changes his face, Mission Impossible form of changing your face. And if people can do this, why don't more people in Star Wars do this, right? They use the cloaks, they do a lot of disguises, but they don't change their face. And if this happened back around this time, how come this technology is not something that we see more often in the Star Wars universe? So again, one of the things about Clone Wars that you're just like, we're gonna take with a grain of salt. Anyway, so he changes his face to look like the guy who murdered him, who obviously didn't murder him. They paid the guy to pretend to murder Obi-Wan. That was all part of the magic plan. Obi-Wan goes to jail, meets Cad Bane, meets Rico Hardin, and they all get together to try and play. And they get a team of people to go and kidnap the Chancellor. We also find out that it's Count Dooku all along, who's been trying to kidnap the Chancellor, which really, if you watch the Clone Wars, you're just like, oh, it's either gonna be Count Dooku or General Grievous. Like, there's just no in between of villains. Like, it's kind of funny. Yeah, so we find this out, and Obi-Wan's giving them a play-by-play about all of this. Anyways, they end up preventing the Chancellor from being kidnapped through all of this, and during this time, the Chancellor tells Anakin, he's like, interesting that the Jedi Order does not trust you with such affairs. Obviously, again, manipulating Anakin, a big part of this. And then, of course, he also alludes, like, Anakin, I want you to be with me for... Like, I want you to live a long, prosperous life because so that way I can live. And it's funny. He's like, yes, as long as you live with me, as long as I live, you will be safe. And he's like, yes, that I hope for a prosperous life. And you're just like, it's funny how, like, you end up assassinating the Chancellor at some point. But ultimately, I guess the other thing that I didn't talk about, I forgot to mention, is the fact that this is the first time in Clone War, like, not the first time, but one of the few times that we see Obi-Wan on a mission by himself and just showing all his capabilities, because we are always impressed by Anakin and his own skills that we sometimes, like, I sometimes, frankly, maybe not you guys, but I sometimes overlook Obi-Wan. So this was the first time that we actually, a 4-part episode where we just get to see how resourceful he is, how intelligent he is, how sneaky he is. Like, Obi-Wan, 10 out of 10 during this episode, even though he wasn't using his own face. Okay, so for season 5, pretty much, we have to worry about... We started off with Maul and Savage were recently beaten up by Obi-Wan. So now they both are against Obi-Wan. They're kind of like escaping to a ship where they're left kind of floating in space. Death Watch happens to come across them because the galaxy is just so small. Death Watch happens to come across them, and they kind of all meet each other, and they're like, okay, well, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. So because they both are against the Jedi and Obi-Wan, especially Pre Vizsla, he's like, let's all join together and join forces. So pretty much they're like, how we're going to do it is we're going to join forces to stop Obi-Wan, but first you need to assist us in taking over Mandalore. Maul's like, sure, you guys take all of Mandalore, and I want to take over the underground network that you guys have. That's what I want. They're kind of doing, like, essentially, Maul tells Savage, we're gonna betray them. And Pre Vizsla upset about this, like, agreement because he wants all of Mandalore, including the underground system. He's like, he pretty much tells Bo-Katan, we'll betray them. But they still need to use each other, so they go, because they say in order to take over Mandalore, they're gonna need a big army, so they go look for Jabba the Hutt. Jabba the Hutt, they end up going to the world of the Hutts and obtaining the assistance of Jabba the Hutt. Pretty much, Jabba the Hutt says that he will assist them in taking over the Maul world, and that's pretty much how they all get together for that. Okay, so pretty much in the next episode, but Pre Vizsla and Bo-Katan are talking about what if Maul betrays us, and then Maul and Savage talking about what if they betray us, and they're like, we got this. They're both like, we got this. Pretty much they coordinate with Maul. They're like, okay, you're gonna create this huge battle a little bit away from the capital, so that way people would doubt Satine's capabilities. People start doing that, which allows them to easily take over Mandalore. So Pre Vizsla is now the ruler of Mandalore. He ends up imprisoning Satine and ended up betraying Maul and imprisoning Maul and Savage together. Maul and Savage, they're like, yeah, we're not too concerned about this. We just need to figure out. So the thing is that they're like, we can't take over Mandalore and then they themselves can't take over Mandalore because they realize that if they take over Mandalore, Obi-Wan or any of the other Jedi are gonna come and be like, and retake it over. So they're like, we need someone to be the face of Mandalore so that way no one bothers us. Anyways, they kind of, as they're talking, Satine also makes a comment about someone who's vile and cruel, which is the Prime Minister Almac, who betrays her in season 2, which I forgot to mention. And then they're like, that's the guy who will be the face. So anyways, Maul and Savage end up escaping, having a battle with Vizsla, with the Darksaber, and Maul have a battle. He ends up winning, killing Vizsla, taking over the Darksaber, and he's like, I will now rule all of Mandalore. Death Watch is not happy about this, by the way. They're like, so Death Watch and Bo-Katan wants to prevent this from happening. They end up losing. And then they just flee because they couldn't officially beat him. So now with Almac, so since they're like, they go back to the original agreement they had with Pre-Vizsla, pretty much. Maul will take over all the underground, and Almac will just rule Mandalore, and that's so far where they're going. Okay. So then at this point, Obi-Wan, Satine manages to semi-escape with the help of Death Watch and her nephew. Corky, he may come up, I don't know. And she manages to get a message out to the Jedi Order to say, help me, I'm like, what's going on in Mandalore. Obi-Wan hears this message and he goes to the rescue, even though the Jedi have not given him permission to do so. They're like, we have to wait for the Senate to allow us to interfere. More corruption in the Jedi Order. But Obi-Wan does not care. He goes. When he appears, he pretty much sees Maul like choking Satine, and he's just like, Maul hates Obi-Wan, especially since he sort of killed him the first time around. He's like, okay, pretty much, he pretty much ends up choking Satine to death. Satine admits that she has always loved Obi-Wan as she's being choked to death. And then Maul's like, you know what, I'm not gonna kill you, I just want you to suffer through all of this pain that you have now just endured. So he throws him in a cell. Obi-Wan is rescued by Death Watch, specifically Bo-Katan. They're escaping, and then Bo-Katan's like, don't worry, we will retake over Mandalore, because this man cannot be the head of Mandalore. They're like, don't worry. And then Obi-Wan's like, you're Satine's sister. So we find out that Bo-Katan is Satine's sister, which is oof, especially because they were in two very opposite sides of the Civil War. So, anyways, then while he's in power, Sidious comes to greet Maul, and this is the first time that Darth Sidious and Maul are together since he's died. Sidious ends up killing his brother Savage. Savage ends up losing all the magic that was given to him, which is really weird. Turns back to his former self, and then he reminds Darth Maul of the rule of two. And he's like, so did you forget that? Did you? And then Maul's of course pissed, and then he ends up torturing Maul with the lightning, and then Maul's like, and then he thinks he's about to die. Darth Sidious is like, no, I'm not gonna kill you because I might need you. And that's where we leave off. Those are the episodes that you need to watch according to Disney. My recommendation is to watch them. Because as I try to recap as much of the details as possible, some of these details are important, and I don't know, I think if you watch it yourself, it'll be a lot better. Alright, pretty much if you like those episodes, I definitely recommend that you watch Clone Wars in your leisure, because before Obi-Wan, not happening. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching Resident Evil channel. Follow me on my journey as I watch Obi-Wan and everything else. Leave a comment below if you'd like me to talk about anything else, recap something else, rant about something else, because that is my specialty.